Hey guys, welcome in. Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Friday. Thanks so much for being with us. 2 hours of Indiana news and politics and government. Got a big announcement coming up here for you guys in just a little bit related to the future of this fabulous program. But before we do that, a couple of housekeeping items and then some of the biggest Indiana news, politics, and government stories of the day. We want to thank some of our fabulous friends that hit that support button yesterday over at robkendallshow.com. If you like what we do, if you say, hey, those guys, they're all right, a great way to say that would be going to robkendallshow.com, hitting the support button, $1, $10. If you're feeling super generous and you hit the Powerball and you want to say $1 million, I think we can accept that. Whatever it is, robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. A couple of our local celebrities in the chat hitting the support button yesterday. Our old buddies Kevin Branham, Christopher Mills, regular participants in the Rob Kendall Show chat over there on YouTube. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. We so appreciate you. Speaking of chat, speaking of the YouTube chat, in order to participate in our little community, and we have a great community there at robkendallshow.com, as well as the Rob Kendall Show YouTube chat, you have to be a subscriber to our channel in order to participate. Friendly people, great people, fun people. We love reading those conversations. If you're new to the program, welcome. And at the end of each show, producer Jason takes the best YouTube comments of the day, and then he reads them back. It's brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. But in order to be a part of the program, part of the chat, get your name read on the YouTube, you got to be a subscriber. So that's why we ask you to do three things: to like, to share, and subscribe. So here's what we need you to do right now if you haven't done it yet. First of all, hit that thumbs up button. Say, yeah, I like this. I like what you guys are doing. That helps us immensely with the YouTube, whatever they call it. The algorithm, monitor, whatever it may be. Also, if you haven't, I'm sure most of you have, but if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Great numbers on that. Keeps our program going. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're listening on demand, Apple, Spotify, whatever it might be, welcome. Thanks. We love you guys as well. Great numbers over there. Subscribe on Apple, to Spotify. Give us that 5-star review. And last but certainly not least, share the feed. Let everybody know where we are. This is all organic. Everything we're doing is organic growth, which means we can't grow without you. If you have a Facebook account, if you have a Twitter account, share this feed. Let people know, hey, there's 2 hours a day of Indiana news and politics and government. They're doing it right here. We need you guys in order to help us grow. All right, let's get into it. Let's do it. Before we do that, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help protect your outdoor surfaces. And man, these guys, they do incredible work. Head over to sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com to see some of the work they do. They do a lot more than just concrete. They do decks, fences, pergolas, any exterior, concrete or wood outdoor structure that needs being brought back to life, clean, maintained. Seal Now, they're your guys. Call today, 317-548-2002, 317-548-2002. Visit sealnow.com. Not only are you going to get a free estimate on your project so you know exactly what it's going to cost, but if you mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show, they're going to take an incredible, this is an amazing deal, 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off just for mentioning you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show. All right, so yesterday, Mike Braun, governor of Indiana, he was over at my old stomping grounds, and he was doing some sort of back and forth with Tony Katz. And again, Braun, as he did a little while ago, he inadvertently lifted the veil back on what a scam a lot of our taxes in the state of Indiana are. In this case, we're talking about the taxes related to gasoline. So Capital Chronicle had an article on this, emanates out of the interview that he did with Tony Katz on WIBC. And Braun said yesterday that he is likely to extend the suspension of the sales tax on gasoline. So just a reminder, I know you guys are the most well-versed audience in all of the world, but for those of you who are new, again, welcome. Thanks for being with us. Tell your friends about us. We have two taxes on gasoline in Indiana. Our Republicans in Indiana who run the state, they are financial predators. They are bad hombres. They should have to sit down and have a seat with Chris Hansen. Tell everybody what they came to do here. They are financial predators. So you have two taxes on gas. There is a special, what they call excise tax on gas, special tax just for gas. And then there is also a sales tax on gas, like there's a sales tax on just about everything in this state, 7%. So the real scam is the more gas goes up in price, the more you pay in sales tax on gas, which is more money to the government. Last month, Mike Braun came out after a month of delay and finally said, I guess gas is kind of expensive. We'll go ahead and suspend the sales tax on gasoline. And then yesterday he said, quote, to Tony Katz, I'm likely to extend it for another 30 days, even though it has been drifting down because I don't see the Mideast issue being cleared up in the next 30 to 45 days. I think we keep watching there, but it looks to me like what it's going to do, there's a good chance I'll be extending it. So apparently that means for another month, the governor intends to extend the sales tax suspension on gasoline, which the Capital Chronicle did an expose. That sales tax on gas was set to go up to 23 cents a gallon because of the price of gas. It was 17 when he suspended it for April. So think about how expensive gas was. It would have been even higher, or will be even higher because he hasn't done it yet, if he doesn't do it in May. 23 cents a gallon. Now, this is wild. The Capital Chronicle did some digging into this, and by law, the governor cannot renew the emergency more than once without approval of the General Assembly. So let's think about this for a second, shall we? When Eric Holcomb was shutting the state down, and every month he would come out with his power pants on and take both of his middle fingers and stick them right in our face, and then take his left boot and right boot and kick us in the junk over and over and over and over again. You guys remember that in 2020, 2021? He could do that as much as he wanted. Over and over and over again. You can shut a state down as many times as you want as governor. You can put people out of work as many times as you want as governor. You can force people to wear a mask as many times as you want as governor. You can close businesses as many times as you want as governor. But if you want to cut taxes for people, you can only do that twice without having to get the approval of the General Assembly. That is the most government thing ever. That guy, Holcomb, single-handedly destroyed our state. Now, of course, the Republicans who ran the state sat there with their thumbs up their ass and did nothing while he did it. Didn't fight for us, didn't demand a special session be called, didn't play tough, didn't rally, nothing. We did the rallies, right? Then we got called a human petri dish. So the governor can shut the state down as many times as he wants, month after month after month. He can destroy your existence. Unlimited ability to do that. You want your taxes cut? He can only do that twice before he's got to ask permission. Quote, I think the legislature has to intervene at some point beyond that, Braun said. I doubt there'd be a special session to do it. So basically what he's telling you is, y'all better hope that the gas goes down real quick because he ain't calling a special session. Now, when it's redistricting to be subservient to Trump, that polling showed overwhelmingly people in Indiana didn't want, he'll call a special session for that. Absolutely. No questions asked. But to fix property taxes so you can afford to stay in your home, to fix or continue to ensure that you can afford gas to put in your car to go to work, to pay taxes? Oh, no. You're getting two of those, and that's it. So that's where we're at with that. We'll see what Braun does. That is the latest, and that's what we know. Hey, guys, I know you're heading into the weekend. You're probably thinking to yourself, where am I going to eat What am I going to do? Do I want the same old thing? The answer should be no, of course not. You want something new, you want something different, you want something better. Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett. They're from Memphis, which means when it comes to barbecue, not screwing around. Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. No pellet smokers, no roasters, authentic wood smoked Memphis style barbecue. All the food at Double D's made fresh daily. They can customize a menu to fit your event. If you've got an event, they cater. You got like, hey, I got to impress the workers or the clients. Double D's Barbecue. They can customize a menu to fit what you do. They make all their own sauces. All this stuff is made from scratch. And if you got like a big event, they got a food truck. Got some street festival, something going on. Double D's got a food truck as well. Double D's is awesome, man. They're located on 40 in Clayton, right there at 40 and 39. Open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, so open right now. You got to get there early, though, because once they sell out, and they do that a lot because it is popular and it is good, they're done. You can see the full menu, ribs, brisket, a whole bunch more at ddbbq317.com, ddbbq317.com. Go out there and eat this weekend. You'll love it. They're outstanding. Double D's Barbecue. All right, so... and we got a big announcement coming up here in just a little bit. And it really is going to be a thank you to you guys for all that you have done for us. But before we get to that, I went to a government meeting last night, and they said many things. But they said something, and I was like, man, I have to talk about this with you guys. And you guys know, and I've done this for years. I live in Warehouseburg on the west side of Brownsburg is the technical name for it, though it has over time become nothing but high density housing and warehouses. Like so many of our once eclectic, different, special cities and towns, it's just become just a dystopian, bland, very crowded existence over there. And I will use things that go on in these meetings. And I know a lot of you obviously don't live where I live, but the things that are happening there, if I think they're applicable to where you live or likely applicable to where you live, I'll use them. I'll use the things that I see, the things that I hear. And so I heard something last night, and I was like, man, I have to talk about this with you guys because it was a great insight into how governments view taxpayers, about how governments view our money, local governments. And one of the mistakes we've made, look, Braun is a Bond villain, right? He's a, oh, God, I almost said it. He's a wussy. He's a wussy. He's a wussy. That's what he is. And he totally wimped out when he had an opportunity to defend us last year with property taxes. He never wanted, his heart was not in it. He didn't want to fight for property taxes. He went to it kicking and screaming. And then when he had a chance to stand up for us, he wimped out. The General Assembly, they're bad guys too. They're rotten. They screwed us on property taxes. They make the laws. But ultimately, you know, I was at this meeting last night, and I'll tell you what they said here in just a moment. But I'm watching this meeting, and it really dawned on me. It's like, you know, the local governments probably are the biggest villain of all in this property tax debacle. Because they were the ones that fought against us. And now that's Braun's excuse, right? Because he didn't have the stones to stand up for us. Well, the local governments were very vocal. And he went from, because Braun lies about everything, he went from, this is the only issue I hear about when I go places. Everyone talks about property taxes. It's all I hear about. To as soon as he caved, well, we just didn't hear about it from enough people. Dude, you got like tens of thousands of emails and phone calls and the rally at 1,000 people. And, well, the local governments were very vocal. And you realize that property taxes became a battle of the people against the governments. And I was thinking last time I watched this meeting, I'm like, man, I have given local governments, I mean, look, they're a-holes. They're totally irresponsible. They're idiots. A lot of our local governments are run by complete idiots, complete uncreative idiots. They used to get mad at me at the radio station when I would call people idiots. They're like, you can't do that. I can do that here. You know who the program director of this place is? Producer Jason. That's who the program director of this place is. You know who the owner is? Me. I pay. Well, that just alienates people. Okay. And I always used to say, what would you call it? Well, you got to be nicer in the way you say things. You have some very uncreative, low IQ people who run our local governments. I was talking with, and look, I promise we're going to get to our big announcement here in a little bit. Just stay with us. You guys are gonna love it. But this is really important. I was talking to a local government person about this yesterday, and they were talking about they were having an issue in their community, and they were presenting an option, and the government was not responding. And I said this. I said, when my wife, and I know you longtime listeners have heard this, but I'll tell this story for our new people, and if you heard it, it's still applicable. When my wife was pregnant with Olivia, she had gotten a vaccine probably 4 or 5 months before we knew that we got pregnant with Olivia. I say we, like I'm not like one of those. The man is pregnant too. No. I'm saying like we knew we were gonna have a baby, and as most of you know, throughout the process, there are different things that they recommend pregnant women get for the baby, when the baby's born, all these sorts of things, right? And as you're a new parent or expecting parent, you guys know this, you've been through this. It's a nightmare, right? You're like, well, I'm reading this and I'm reading that and I'm doing this and I'm talking to this person and that person. You're trying to figure out what to do. And so they're coming up on, I don't know, we're probably 5, 6, 7 months into the process. I don't remember. But they're like, okay, it's time for her, my wife, to get this vaccine because then the baby gives the baby antibodies when the baby's born, blah, blah, blah. And we start thinking and go, well, wait a second. She just got this vaccine like 3 or 4 months before Olivia was conceived. So we start reading into this vaccine. It's like, well, the antibodies tend to last or will brush off for 2 years. We probably don't need to get this vaccine. And we go back and forth and we're reading stuff. And yeah, it kind of looks like you're going to be all right. You don't need to get this. And we'll ask the doctor. And so we have the regularly scheduled appointment. We go to the appointment and the doctor says, okay, it's time for you to get this vaccine. I said, well, hey, doctor, if you look at her records, she got this vaccine, whatever at the time. Now it'd be like 10 months ago. And according to this, the antibodies can last for up to 2 years. And you can tell the doctor's like getting this very confused look on her face. And I said, I don't think my wife needs to get this vaccine. She doesn't think she needs to get it either, because if the goal is to transfer these antibodies to the baby, which is great, that should be being accomplished in the time frame we're at here. And the doctor's still looking at me, and the doctor's not saying anything. And I finally am like, so do you think she needs to get the vaccine? And I will never forget this. The doctor starts talking in a circle, right? And I'm like, no, like I'm telling you what I'm reading about this. I'm not disputing whether the vaccine is valuable to the baby. She's already had this thing. Do you think she needs to get another one? And finally, the doctor just looks at us and goes, well, the book says she needs to get it. The book says she needs to get it. And I said, ma'am, I get that you have MD next to your name and you went to medical school. And you're probably far more advanced than I am when it comes to understanding pregnant women and babies and everything else. So don't take this the wrong way. I know what the book says. I've been reading the book. If I wanted the book's opinion, I could just buy the book. I'm paying you because you're the doctor. What is your opinion on this? And she would not just come. I mean, she went all the way around saying, yeah, you don't need it, but she wouldn't say you don't need it. And I realized I've gone over her head in the sense of, and there are many fine doctors, men and women who do phenomenal jobs. And part of it was probably they got a liability concern, right? Like if we say you don't need this and something goes wrong, well, the doctor said we don't need it. But I realized they're going by the book, right? Like the process of birthing a child from conception to live birth, there's like a book, right? They're literally working through the process. And so I told this person yesterday when they were talking about their issue, I said, local governments, I told him the story, and I said, local governments are basically the same way. They are career, and state governments, they're run by career, for the most part, career bureaucratic people who work off of a playbook. Every situation in some sense has to fit into the book. The elected officials, be they city councilmen, town councilmen, county councilmen, have no idea what's going on. They don't read, they don't engage, they don't indulge, they don't have creativity. They rely, for the most part, on the bureaucrats to give them the information, or in the case of, like, if we get to the General Assembly, whatever the bosses, the party bosses tell them to do. And they can't fathom how to respond for something that's not inside the book. If it doesn't fit in the book, they don't know what to do. They don't use common sense. They don't use creativity. They don't go, yeah, that's probably right. Let's figure out a way to make this happen. And so last night I'm at this meeting, and it's, for you guys who've been following along with this, our school system, to their credit, is trying to avoid asking for a referendum this fall. Now, nobody should cry any tears for the public education system. Brownsburg has 2 football fields. Brownsburg has 4 field houses. Ain't no tears being shed for these people, all right? So I don't ever want to say, like, Rob Kendall is crying a river of tears for public education. No, they get way too much frickin' money. It's ridiculous. We've been taxed to death. And the biggest reason in almost every community, the school system, your local school system, probably gets 50% or more of your property tax dollars on top of the money they get from the state. It's an embarrassment that these people can't make it work. It's an embarrassment. That being said, most school systems in this state, because the legislature are a bunch of wussies, not the word I want to use, but the word I will use, they're a bunch of wussies who won't stand up to public education or local governments, just like they wouldn't last year. They allow these schools, whenever they want, to go to the ballot and get a referendum. Now, they have, I say whenever they want, they now have to do it in even year general elections. So they could do it this year, they could do it in 28. But the point is, pretty much whenever they want, they can go force the community to vote against getting their taxes raised. And they can use a lot of public money in order to do this. Like Carmel, they're about to enact their 3rd referendum. Like at the same time. Not one referendum they voted for 3 times. Like they will have 3 active referendums here coming up very soon. So to Brownsburg's credit, having said that they have too much money, and I don't think they're responsible with the money, but that's not Brownsburg, it's all the public schools. To Brownsburg's credit, they have taken a responsible approach of saying, we do not want to do a referendum. We want to avoid asking the taxpayers to raise the taxes, mostly because they don't want me spending 6 months running them through the mud. But it doesn't matter why, they're doing the right thing. And so as you guys know, we've laid this out. They have come up with a, I think, pretty reasonable request from our town and township governments asking for a short-term cash infusion. And then they believe they will get money from the state in the upcoming budget that will rectify the situation. And in a couple of years, they'll be fine. And I have supported them in that endeavor. Not because I support them having the money, but because I support my taxes not going up. I've paid enough. You've paid enough. So anyway, that's the background of this. So they have another town meeting last night where they're supposed to either vote on this or have some robust discussion on this. And they still won't make a decision on this. They've kicked it down the can down the road again because, again, these government people have been asked to do something that is outside of the book. It's outside of the box. It forces them to have the least bit of critical thinking, of creativity imaginable. They've been asked by the school to do something that isn't in their book. They've been asked to do something by the school that isn't in their box. And so they just sit there every time they get asked to make a decision and they go, and they can't do it. They don't want to say no to the school. They can't figure out how to make it work because the town staff probably doesn't want to do it because it would involve taking money that they want to waste on something else. So anyway, all that being said, they open up the meeting last night with this statement, and it's clearly written by an attorney and bureaucrats and the town council president, who is up for re-election, by the way. Ben Lacey has been a disaster in Brownsburg. Guys, you've got to fire this guy. If you live in Brownsburg and you hear my voice, please, for the love of God, vote against Ben Lacey. Oh my gosh. Please, if you want to do anything, if you would like, I got to give Rob Kendall an early Christmas present in May. That would be it. He reads this statement. He's the council president, and he reads this statement, and he's like, it's just, you can tell it's nonsensical garbage that means nothing to the average person. But in the middle of this statement, they start crying. It was written by staff, an attorney. The council president's reading it. I'm assuming he's speaking for everyone up on the stage. They start crying about the lack of revenue or quote unquote lost revenue. And nothing, guys, nothing makes me angrier than when I hear a government talk about lost revenue. Because lost implies you had some entitlement to it. Like you owned it, like it was yours. They start crying about the lost revenue from the property tax bill. Now, look, there's a lot of things to hate in that property tax bill. But you getting a fraction of the money back from the tax increases that you have paid over the past 5 years ain't it. And it enrages me. I see the schools do it, and the cities do it, and the towns do it, and the counties do it, and the fire territories do it. And I'm sure if I knew who was running the libraries, they would do it or are doing it. Crying. People have seen their property taxes double or triple over the last 5 years, and you're getting $200 or $300 back. And I got to watch this guy cry a river of tears over quote unquote lost revenue. No offense, but kiss my ass. Now, look, again, there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't like. The way that businesses ended up getting the most, I don't like that. But I'm not mad that property owners are getting property tax relief. And it is highly offensive that whether it's school systems or cities or towns, that are, after all this excess revenue that has flowed in from our pockets, these governments are crying over a lack of money. That's our money. What did you do with all the excess money? This is the question that none of these governments will answer when they get angry or upset or have some sense of entitlement for you getting $200 back. What did you do with all the excess money that you got in 21 and 22 and 23 and 24 and 25? Look, the new data that is out, forget where I read this. Oh, I know where I read this. One of these gullible people who thinks they're special because Braun invites them to his house every month and lies to them posted this. Yes, they are still meeting with Braun. And even though Braun and Micah have done jack crap for these people for a year now, they still go and they post, oh, the governor, he invited us and Micah was there and Diego was there and how they were so wonderful. They're lying to you. They're using you. Stop going. I said this a year ago. I'm saying it now. They've done nothing since you people started going to those meetings. Stop going. Stop being a useful idiot. Stop being a pawn. Tell them to put up or shut up. This person claimed that 57% of people, now I have no reason to doubt this person. I don't think they're lying, that Braun claimed 57% of people saw property tax decreases last year. That means 43% of the people saw their property taxes go up. Let's review. There was a property tax bill to decrease property taxes for Hoosiers, and 43% of the people saw their property taxes go up. Apparently from that meeting, those were Braun's numbers. That's the Indiana Republican Party. That's Mike Braun. Their property tax reform bill saw 43% of the people see their property taxes go up in year one. And if those numbers are wrong, take it up with Braun. Those 57% of people who saw their taxes, quote unquote, go down, we've already laid out to you the math and the reality because they're not touching assessments. Those decreases are going to go away within 2 to 3 years. And you've got income taxes that are going to go up for a lot of people. And you've got these referendums that are going to hit. Braun, Beckwith blew it. The General Assembly never wanted to do it, so I don't blame them. Rod Bray wasn't out running around going, I can't wait to fight for you in 25 on property taxes. Todd Houston or Jeff Thompson were not running around going, we can't wait to go to bat for you. So only 57% of our population in the landmark property tax bill saw property tax decreases, which are going to be negated within a year or two anyway. 43% saw their property taxes go up. And I got to listen to some guy turn into like this blubbering pile of sadness was trying to think of what I can say, given that I have put my own standards on this program of saying things that I can say on terrestrial radio. It's one of these days, I'm just going to tell everybody. We're just going to put a disclaimer up and say, this is the day. This is the day that Rob breaks the rule. About lost revenue to governments. F them. All of them. Hey, guys, don't leave your biggest investment to chance. Work with Lauren Wilson, a realtor who is Hoosier through and through, military vet, and dedicated to a higher standard of service. Lauren Wilson is a realtor with @properties. And she knows big life changes, that's what selling or buying a home is. She gets it. Lauren Wilson gets it. Whether you're upgrading for a growing family, downsizing for retirement, Lauren provides hands-on experience and the attention that it takes so that she takes the stress out of the process for you. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson with @properties. Even if you're not in the market right now, get to know Lauren Wilson. Maybe she can put together a strategy for you didn't even think of. It doesn't cost anything. Lauren Wilson with @properties. 317-590-2290. All right. When we come back, big announcement for the show. Your beautiful reward for being the greatest audience in the whole world. Coming up next, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Big announcement coming up, but here's the deal, guys. I looked at the like counter. We're still under 100 likes. That's unacceptable. I am not making this announcement until we get 100 likes on this show. I made an executive decision during the break. So here's what's going to happen. Jason's going to monitor that little like counter, and I'm going to sit here and not talk about the big announcement until we get to 100 likes. So the sooner we get to 100 likes, the sooner I can go ahead and make this big announcement. So look, it's like my parents used to say when I would get in trouble, the ball's in your court. 3 more to go. My father used to famously sternly look at me. I can sit here all day. We're not leaving until you clean your room. So at this point, it's up to you to decide how fast you guys want to get to this announcement. Hey, leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry foundation and chimney specialist. 120. Good, dude. You guys are the best. I should just do that every day. I'm not starting this show until we get 100 likes. I'll just stare into that camera. And you guys know if you want awkward, I'll do it. 134. You guys are the best. All right. Okay. So let's kind of go back in the time machine real quick here. And you guys know that this thing that I do is about way more than just coming to work each day. That it has been the passion of my life and the thing that I wanted to do since I was a little kid. And as I've grown, as I become an adult, as I become a husband, a father, all of these things, you learn your time, and I heard this years ago, and it's right, your time is finite, it's not infinite. And so inside of this business, you have to find out what you're good at, what your calling is, and you have to spend your time maximizing that. And wherever you're at in this business, whatever you're doing in this business, because of that limited amount of time, you have to make the most of it. And so I was blessed for many, many years to do that on probably the most powerful media outlet in the state. And I was under the belief that that was going to last forever. And the numbers bared that out, and I just say this is going to roll forever. And you guys know this by now. It didn't, and that's okay. That wasn't my choice. That was their choice. And whatever reason they did that, that's up to them. I've been on the ownership side. They don't owe anybody any explanation. But from the moment I knew that was going to happen, I started thinking about what do we do next to ensure that the conversation continues? Not for me, but because you guys deserve to have the information about what's going on in local government, the state of Indiana, your communities. And I knew that was going to go away. I knew it was not going to exist in the form that it did because nobody could do it the way that I did it. Look, I'm not trying to be braggadocious because I consider us a family, but nobody could do what we're doing right now. Nobody else can do it. I wish more people were doing it. We'd be way better off, but it's not going to happen. And so we immediately began that conversation about what does the next thing look like? Where do we go to ensure the conversation continues? And Jason and I spent a lot of time talking about this, and we went back and forth on what will we do, how do we do it, where do we go, where are we at, all of these things. And the thing that I was adamant about as we worked through these conversations was I need 2 hours a day every day to talk about local stuff. I firmly believed for years that a local show would work. And I pitched that to a variety of people over the years and could never get any traction. It's been gangbusters. You guys have proven that works. That you are hungry for local news and politics and information that you can't get anywhere else. We've been proven correct. Nobody else should be able to do this, and it's because of the local aspect. And we have worked, and this is no joke, probably at least 12 hours a day, sometimes more, pretty much every single day. Like, there's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes to grow this thing from the ground up, to make a legitimate media program that people want to be a part of, that you guys want to consume, that you guys want to invest in, that you guys want to, that sponsors want to be a part of. And there's a lot of people who do a great job. They're doing phenomenal reporting on local government, just sitting in their bedroom doing stuff. And that's great. God bless those people. They're awesome. We wanted it to be more and different and bigger. And we felt we had the ability to do that because we felt that's what you deserved. Whatever we put forward, we felt it had to be up to the standard that you've come to expect from what I've been doing for years. Now, it doesn't have to be glitz and glamour. This is not glitz and glamour. But we wanted to look good. We wanted to sound good. And most importantly, I wanted to be able to commit to the 2 hours a day of hammering home how rotten these state and local politicians are and the way they're harming you. We had to give you what you've always gotten, or what I always wanted to give you in many cases. And I needed 2 hours a day of local content to do that. Now, when we started this and we got off the ground and we told you, we said, this show is going to change. It's going to morph. It's going to move because we're on the fly here, right? We're learning as we go. One of the things we kept getting asked was, we want to hear you do some national stuff. We love the local, but we want to hear you talk about some of these national things the way you used to talk about them. And I would get this all the time from you guys about, hey, we love this, but what about this national topic or that national topic? And Jason, I kept going around on this, and I kept saying, I don't want to cede the 2 hours of local content. Like, there are all of these important national things, but I don't want to cede the 2 hours of local content. And we went back and forth for weeks on this about, like, what do we do? How do we do this? And you guys know, sometimes I would do some national stuff, but it had to apply locally, or I have to be able to bring it back locally. Sometimes there's just national stuff going on that we haven't been able to talk about because we're so hyper-focused on local. And as we were trying to figure out how do we because everything we're doing here is about making you guys happy. It's about making media that works for the people. Nobody's making media that works for the people anymore. The first thing is the people. And we have the ability to do that because we don't have a corporation that we're accountable to. We don't have an ownership group that's got a bottom line. We cost ourselves money all the time. Jason screams at me all the time. I can't believe you turned that down because I didn't think it'd be good for you guys. I didn't think it'd be good for the sponsors. I didn't think it'd be good for growing this program long term. And so we reached a real impasse on how do we do important national stuff in the confines of the 2 hours we've allotted, because I'm not giving up the 2 hours for local. Jason knows I'm pretty go with the flow in terms of you just make everything work. I'll sit here and talk. I don't push back on a lot of things. But I did dig in on making sure that you guys have 2 hours a day. Someone was willing to give you 2 hours a day of what's going on in this state, because this state, no offense, is screwed up. And these politicians get a free pass on it, and it's gross. So we finally came to the conclusion the only logical thing for us to do, if we're going to do anything national, would be to add a third hour. And we went back and forth on this, and I said, look, I'm happy to live an impoverished life. You look at me, guys. But we got to find some way to make this work and make the numbers work. And then you start getting into, we're already working 12 hours a day. And then you start getting into, literally the only free time, guys, I have, and Jason will back me up on this. The only free time I have is basically between the hours of about 5 and 8:30. And that's when I dedicate that to my kid. And Jason is still working. And I keep telling him all the time, stop texting me. I'll get back to you at 8:30. That's how dedicated we've been, because you guys, and this is the key, we've been dedicated because you guys have returned it back to us. If you guys didn't give a damn, if you were half-assing it on the audience side, then we wouldn't do it. But we feel an obligation to you. And so I told Jason, I said, look, there's no way to make that third hour work because I don't have time. Like, can't do all the other stuff that's associated even with 2 hours from the sponsors and, making sure that you guys get thanked for every support button that gets hit, all of this stuff, because we want to grow this community. I can't do it. And so finally we just got to an impasse, and he said, I want to do this. I'm willing to do this. But the only way we could logically make a 3rd hour work is if someone took the burden for us to make that work. And the other day, somebody stepped up and said, I will do that. And so as of May the 4th, which is Monday, we're going to add a 3rd hour. We're going to go 9 to noon. And we will start incorporating national content. It will still be predominantly local. The 2 hours is very important to me to hit on local content. But we're going to add a 3rd hour. We're going to be able to talk about some of these national stories that we've not had time to do. And the reason we're able to do that is because of the generous support from our guy who's been a big supporter of ours since we got off the ground, since we were even conceptually thinking about this, which is John Rust. John Rust is making it possible for us to be able to provide you guys a 3rd hour. He doesn't want anything. He wants us to be able to give you the conversation. That's what I asked him. I was like, I had this conversation with him. I was just kicking it around, saying, hey, we're thinking about doing this. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And then he said, I'll support that. And I said, well, what do you want? He said, I don't want anything. I just want you to do a 3rd hour. John has believed in us this whole time. John believed in me when I was at WIBC. And he is stepping up and making it possible for us to bring you guys that 3rd hour so that we can continue to give you more content. And boy, does the establishment hate John Rust, which makes it even better. So we will, first of all, really want to thank John for doing that. We want to thank all of our sponsors that have stepped up for us, which includes Seal Now and Bramwell Mackay and Lauren Wilson and Double D's Barbecue, and Adam Baltus, and Gary Tedrow, and all of the people that have made it possible. Vent Savvy, over on State House Happening side, Damar, and the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. It's a great restaurant out in Brazil, too. You guys got to do 2 things. You got to go Double D's, and you got to go to the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage in Brazil. All of these people, these sponsors that have stepped up, that are allowing us to now bring you 3 hours. And most importantly, I want to thank you guys. Because ultimately, while other people are, financially helping us keep the lights on here, you guys are the reason we're doing this. You guys have believed in me. You've stayed with me. I'm talking about years. Some of you guys have been with me 12, 13 years now. Has it been that long? Am I that old? I almost did. Yeah. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having enough interest in what we do that we are able to expand the program, expand the content, get more stuff to you guys, have more conversations, do more interviews, take on more topics. Hell, there may be some days I do 3 hours of local content. There are days when we're done in 2 hours and I haven't even gotten to a third of my sheet of stuff to talk about. So it doesn't mean there are days where it will be 3 hours of local content. But beginning Monday, May the 4th, we're going to 3 hours, 9 to noon. Thank you to all of our sponsors who made that possible. Thank you to John Rust, who's stepping up. Thank you to you guys who've hit that support button over at robkindleshow.com. This community is growing. It's expanding. And ultimately, it's all about having important, hard conversations you won't get anywhere else to be able to hold these politicians accountable. Exciting times. Let's get at it. All right, we'll take a break. Well, before we do that, before we take a break, sorry, Jason, I didn't mean to get you off kilter there. Let's talk about one of our sponsors, Gary Tedrow. Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps home buyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple. Clear advice and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes or call 317-695-5179 to learn more to get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call today for a free, no obligation quote, 317-695-5179, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, in MLS, number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, in MLS, number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. All right, here we go. Taking a break. We'll be back. A lot more on the way, including all the money FSSA blew. Oh my gosh, there's so much money that we wasted. We'll talk about it next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesen.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for being with us. Hope you're having a great Friday. If you haven't yet, hit that little like button, that little thumbs up. That really helps us. I know we've got new people all the time. If you're new, welcome. It's 2 hours a day for now of Indiana news, politics, and government till May 4th when we go to 3 hours. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't. We'd love for you to stay, come back, whether you're watching us live or on demand. We certainly appreciate you, and share the feed. Let people know, and I'll count on you guys. Let people know. We'll do the best we can. That beginning May the 4th, we're going to 9 to noon. We've been asked quite a bit, like, what's up with the studio? We're hoping to have an answer for that pretty soon. Like, I've been telling you guys, man, it is like drinking from a fire hose every single day. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of adventure, and Jason and I have done a lot of adventures together over the years. I've never had to do it with a small child before, though, so it's been great. We hope to have the studio figured out here pretty soon, and bear with us as we get all of that taken care of. But Yeah. Does anyone have about 300 square feet they'd like to give us in the central Indiana area? It would just make it so much easier. All we really need is about 300 square feet, the ability to scream, and high-speed internet. That's it. That's all we need. If that's you, hit us up in the chat. We would love to get to know you. Speaking of people we like to know, our friends at Vent Savvy. You know, I didn't realize this until recently, guys, until I actually met John from Vent Savvy. The time he called me and he told me about what he does, I was like, oh, really? Oh, no kidding. But most bathroom exhaust fans aren't actually doing what they're supposed to do. A lot of them are undersized. They're not actually vented properly to the outside. And that means when you take a hot shower, moisture isn't leaving the house. It gets trapped in the ceiling or the attic. It's where mold problems start. It's where John comes in. You go to ventsavvy.com, VENTSAVVY.com. You tell him you heard about him on the Rob Kendall Show. He's coming out to your house free of charge. He'll check your vent, make sure it's working. All of this is free. He's going to check into that, and he'll crawl into your attic. Who crawls up in the attic for free in a house they don't live in? And he will take a look, see what you got going on. He'll tell you what he finds, give you the information. If you need something to get fixed, he'll tell you what that would cost. You make all the choices. You're in control of everything. Vent Savvy, VENTSAVVY.com. Tell them you heard about him on the Rob Kendall Show. All right. So we got an update on this Adam Krupp situation. We're not letting this one go. And you guys know how it works. I got the OCD. This is why I'm good at my job. I got the obsessive compulsive disorder. And that means I can't let anything go. I go back and forth with Gabrielle all the time. She'll say, you can't let anything go. I said, I've got obsessive compulsive disorder. It's not my fault. I've been diagnosed. But this is part of why I bulldog into stuff. And this Adam Krupp thing is my new thing. Adam Krupp, of course, was the former head of DCS, Child Services. He was making $210,000 a year. He disappeared for 3 months, claimed he had a medical emergency, wouldn't tell anyone where he was or what he was doing. Does this sound familiar? A high-profile leader disappears for a period of time and won't tell anybody where he was at or what he was doing? Where about? Boy, that seems really familiar. A high-profile leader disappeared, was out of communication with the public, wouldn't tell anybody where he was at or what he was doing. Guys... Oh, Joe Hogsett did that during the riots, didn't he? Son of a gun. That's right. Yeah. I knew I'd heard that before. And then finally, the other day, he reemerged with an announcement that he had resigned as the head of DCS, but he had taken a role as a, quote, special advisor with the Braun administration, making the same $210,000 a year. Our friends at WRTV6 tried to get answers on what the hell this guy's doing. They couldn't get one. And then yesterday, our friend Kara Kinney, who is doing the reporting over at RTV6, told me that the governor's office finally confirmed, or State Department of Personnel, I don't know which one, confirmed there is no job description for this special advisor role. A guy works in state government making $210,000 a year plus benefits, and a role was magically invented for him, and the media's like, hey, can you tell us what the job description is? Nope, don't have one. We still have no idea where he went, why he was out of the office for 3 months, what he was doing, except Grandpa talked yesterday, and we have told you, Griffin, never let Grandpa stop talking. Grandpa Braun. Every time he opens his mouth, it is gold for this show. If they make Braun stop doing interviews, we're in big trouble. So, like I said, Braun was on with Tony yesterday. He talked about the gas tax, sales tax on gas. But then Tony also asked him about Krupp. Listen to this quote from Braun. You tell me if this doesn't stink to high heaven. Again, you have a guy who disappears for 3 months. You have no idea where he's at or what he's doing. Look, if he had an illness, I'm sorry. But like, if you had cancer, and I hope he doesn't have cancer, you would say, hey, I've got cancer. I'm on the mend. I'm going to fight this thing aggressively. I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability while I'm gone, whatever, right? You would let the public know what was happening or some other, illness. Hey, man, I've got I had COVID or whatever, right? This guy didn't say any of that, nor did the Braun administration. $210,000 a year, in charge of the safety of children in our state, and you don't hear a word, and then he just reemerges. Why is he not leading DCS if he's well enough to come back to work? If he's well enough to go to work, why is he not still in charge of DCS? He's clearly working and getting paid. No answers. So Tony asked him about this, and here's what Braun said. Quote, you tell me if this doesn't just stink to high heaven. Quote, he was considered to be doing a good job. The people there like working for him, but it got to be a little too much. So, gave him a leave of absence. He then said he's ready to come back. That doesn't sound like an illness. That sounds like a guy who wasn't capable of doing the job and had some sort of breakdown. And I'm sorry if he did, but if he ain't capable of doing the job, why did he get a new sweetheart job? Look, that's a stressful job. DCS is a dumpster fire. You deal with some of the scummiest, crappiest, rottenest people on earth. Don't doubt that for a second. You should have known that when you took the job, because Adam Krupp is a career government lifer, dude. We're going to talk more about Krupp's track record here in a second. Krupp, you're on my crap list now, dude. Not because you couldn't take it, which, I mean, I guess that's what Braun was saying, but because of the way you handled it and the secretive BS. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of these people not delivering for the taxpayers, and then they get some sweetheart landing spot still with my money. I'm sick of it. Sick of it. Krupp is a career government person. According to one press release, he served in legal and leadership roles in Indiana's BMV, Family and Social Services, and Office of Indiana Governor Mike Pence. So it ain't like he didn't know what he was going into. He made the choice to go into it. What Braun appears to have said there is he couldn't cut it. Nothing wrong with that. That's a horrible job. Probably see all sorts of heinous things. But if you can't do the job, you don't get some sweetheart landing spot for the same amount of money without a job description. This is why our state can't pay its bills without raising taxes by $1 billion, because they're giving Adam Krupp $210,000. Let's face it, to probably do next to nothing. We don't know because they won't tell us. The governor said, by the way, this article is in the Capitol Chronicle if you want to read about being on Tony's show. The governor added that running the agency, quote, got to Krupp before. Braun said, Braun will see how the new arrangement, quote, works. What? So this isn't the first time this has happened? You put a guy in there or back in there who has a track record of not being able to deal with stress well? I don't know what else we would make of it, of those statements from Braun. If someone else has a better idea, let me know. Hey, Krupp, why don't you come on and tell us? Why don't you, for the first time in this whole process, be responsible to the taxpayers and tell us what's going on? Because according to what Braun alluded to, of course, he won't tell you the truth either, so he dances all the way around it. There was some sort of breakdown. You can't cut it. Feel horrible for you. Shouldn't be in that position. Certainly shouldn't be back in that position. Certainly shouldn't get a sweetheart job. There's lots of jobs you can't cut it in. And you know what they do? They say, thank you, have a nice day, goodbye. They don't give you a six-figure job without a job description as a payoff. This is infuriating. Krupp previously led the Department of Revenue from 2017 to 2020. The public spin on that was that he quit to go run for attorney general, which he did. Then, and I started looking into Krupp, because now, Krupp, you're on my list. Because you and Braun are in bed together on this. And Braun's a dirty, rotten, corrupt, horrible person who screws us all the time. So now that you guys are in bed together, I hope the $210,000 is worth it, dude. So according to this, the research that I did, Krupp ended up, after running for attorney general and failing, he got smoked at the convention. He then got a super cushy job with a company called Resultant after he lost to Rokita at the convention. So my question is, because Braun maybe accidentally said this, I don't know, was Braun alluding to something the public doesn't know about what happened at the Department of Revenue? I mean, let me read this. The governor added, according to the Capitol Chronicle, that running the agency, quote, got to Krupp before. Is he saying he had a meltdown at DCS before? Is he saying that he had a meltdown at another agency before? What does that mean? It got to him before. And why, if something got to somebody, do you keep letting them back in? Look, some people just aren't cut out for this life, right? Like a lot of people can't do what I do because they can't stand the heat. They can't stand the smoke. Can't stand anonymous people saying horrible things about them on Twitter. And that's great. This is not a charmed life. There's lots of jobs that I couldn't do, that I wouldn't be good at, that I couldn't stand dealing with. This might be one of them, seeing kids being harmed. I didn't apply to be the head of DCS. But I want to talk about this resultant for a minute. Here is what they had to say when they hired Krupp in 2022. So remember, he's the head of Department of Revenue from 17 to 20. He quits, allegedly, to go run for Attorney General. Now, who knows now, based on what Braun said, if that's even accurate. He loses. Here's what Resultant said when they hired Krupp. Resultant, a leading consulting firm specializing in technology, data analytics, and digital transformation, announced today that it has named Adam Krupp as Senior Director of Public Sector Services, get ready for this, in which he oversees a team delivering transformational solutions for government agencies with a specific focus on Resultant's work with the state of Indiana. This guy led the Department of Revenue. He's a career government insider and lifer, leaves Department of Revenue. Where does he go? To a company that does business, and a huge portion of their business is with the state of Indiana. He leaves there. Where does he end up? Running DCS, and according to Braun on multiple occasions, he can't cut it. That is why our government is in the shape it's in. This guy has no business being in charge of a lemonade stand. And yet he keeps getting put in these government positions. Where have we seen this before? Where have we seen Braun putting someone unqualified in a position before because they're politically connected? Oh, Jennifer Ruth Green. That's right. Are you sensing a trend here? Jennifer Ruth Green had no business being in a cabinet level position. She was put there because she was anointed as the golden child by the Indiana Republican Party because they wanted her to run again in that first congressional district. And then, because she had no business being there, had no idea what she was doing, no respect for the office whatsoever, within a matter of months, she ends up under Inspector General investigation and ultimately pays a massive fine to the Ethics Commission and quits. And now, because she was only going to be able to win because she was a rotten candidate, if they redistricted, once the Republicans didn't redistrict, she didn't run. This is a pattern with Braun. And again, we only can work off of what he said on Tony Katz's show. Don't know what else I would use. Those are his words. Now, see if they would just be like directly honest and tell you the truth about things, like in English that people can understand, you wouldn't have to connect the dots. Adam Krupp is a career government crony lifer. I'm sorry if you had an illness, mental or health or whatever. I hope you get feeling better. I hope you have a great life and live long and prosper. But you have no business being in Indiana government. You have no business being in charge of anything. You have no business getting a cushy landing spot if Braun apparently knew this had happened before. He said it happened before. Braun's words, not mine. This has got to stop. We have to stop paying higher taxes so that people like this can have ridiculously high-paying jobs. So that people like Diego Morales can waste $300,000 on unused vehicle history reports. I'm sick of hearing there's no money to fund the government, the state governments, the local governments, all of them without tax increases. And then we have to dig up crap like this. Look, if this is a private sector, get whatever job you want. Good luck. I'm paying for it. I pay. And when you make me pay by force, yeah, you're damn right I'm going to scrutinize it. Because nobody ever gives me a break. I'm supposed to give Braun a hug and shoot fireworks up into the sky because I got $200 back on my property taxes. Meanwhile, this guy, despite apparently repeated failures, repeated inability to do the job, gets a $210,000 plus job plus benefits. Gross. Disgusting. Hey, if you guys are planning a trip this summer, it can be overwhelming. We're getting to vacation season. You know where you want to go, but how do I get there? What do? I struggle with this all the time. This is where our guy Adam Baltus comes in, and Baltus Travel. Adam's a super nice guy. He's really into traveling. Like, that's his life. He was so into traveling, he started a travel service. How cool is that? That's how much he likes other people having good experiences when they go places. So here's what you do. You call Adam today. 812-593-7561. 812-593-7561. Or check out baltustravel.com. BALTUS travel.com. And you tell him what you want to do. And in many cases, he can maybe even get you better prices than you're looking at. Sometimes he can't. But that's why you got to call him. What are you looking at? He's got access to stuff. If you're planning a trip of any sort, let Adam help you out. Most cases, it won't cost you an extra dime for your trip. He does all the work. You can get better prices in some cases. Wherever you're thinking about going, hotels, cars, flights, cruises. If you're thinking about doing anything this summer, this spring, this fall, call Adam Baltus. Baltus Travel Service. 812-593-7561. baltustravel.com. BALTUS travel. TRAVEL.com. But all right, one other thing I want to get to. Coming up next, guys, we've got an interview with Joe Mackey. Joe Mackey is an interesting guy. He's running for Congress in the 4th Congressional District as a Democrat. That's where I live. It's a western part of the state. It's a Republican area that has started over time to tilt a little bit more blue. Now, it's not a toss-up district yet. It's not like the 5th is becoming, or had become before they gerrymandered it. But as we see more people come in, that district is going more blue. And so I thought he'd be an interesting guy to talk about as a Democrat running against the progressive wing of the party. He's running on the idea that the Democrats have got to change, that the Democrats have to go back to the days of John Kennedy. And I thought he'd be an interesting guy to talk to about how do you even win a primary when there's so many, let's face it, just insane people running the Democrat Party these days. How do you stand out? How do the Democrats, with Bo Bai potentially being their nominee for Secretary of State at the top of the ticket, also running as a centrist, how do you guys make inroads in Indiana and take the party back so we can have some competitive elections around here? So we'll talk with him in just a minute. Before we do that, though, is your driveway showing signs of wear, freeze, thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup? Like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect outdoor surfaces. These guys do incredible work. It goes way beyond just concrete. They're great at that, but they also do decks, fences, pergolas, any exterior concrete or a wood outdoor surface or structure needs clean, maintained. Seal Now can do it. Here's what you do. You call today, 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002. Visit sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com. They got all the pictures of the work they do there. You get a free estimate. And when you say, hey, I heard about you on Rob's show, listen, this is an incredible deal. 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off any long-term sealing project by just mentioning you heard about Seal Now on our show. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll hear from Joe Mackey. The chat has blown up today. We got a huge chat. Jason reading the best YouTube comments of the day. Coming up, we got so much more to get to. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Rob Kendall Show. With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Planning a trip can be overwhelming. You know where you want to go, but how do you make it happen? That's where Baltus Travel Service comes in. Adam Baltus takes the worry out of travel and is with you every step of the way. The great thing about using Baltus Travel Service is in most cases, it won't make your trip cost an extra dime. Adam is certified through most major cruise lines as well as Disney and Universal theme parks. If you've been thinking about going anywhere in the world, take the worry out with Baltus Travel Service. There's no charge for a consultation to find out in advance what your trip will cost. Get started today by visiting baltustravel.com or call 812-593-7561. 812-593-7561.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
It is the Rob Kendall Show. The Democrats are feeling optimistic for this fall. Let's find out if that's going to translate here in Indiana. Joined by Joe Mackey. He is running on the Democrat side for Congress in Indiana's 4th Congressional District. That's the western part of the state. Joe, hello.
How are you, Rob? Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. So you're in a district that has been strong Republican for a while, though Democrats have become more optimistic about the 4th Congressional District. Tell us, first of all, why on the Democrat side you're throwing your name in, why you feel like this is a good year for you to run.
Well, Rob, I have been in this district, working in this district for the better part of the last decade. I'm known in every county, Democrats and Republicans alike. I think I'm viewed more as a centrist. I've had Republicans tell me that I remind them of a Dick Lugar Republican. And I'm grateful for that. Dick Lugar was a great man. I would prefer to be remembered as a Birch Bayh Democrat, but either is okay by me. I've worked in the district as a candidate. Been the 4th District Democratic Chair. I have been in the district out with the counties, even when I was not a party functionary or a candidate.
So let's talk about the Democrats. Is this going to be a good year for you guys nationally? Is it going to be a good year for you guys in Indiana? If so, why?
Well, I think, the pundits on both sides of the aisle are suggesting that the Democrats are going to have a good year. I certainly hope that's the case. I think here in this district, it's an uphill climb. and we have a lot of outreach to do. But my campaign is focused on those issues that affect all of us. Healthcare, for instance, affects all of us. It's not really, it shouldn't be a political issue, but it is. Uh, Housing, of course, 22,000 Hoosiers just lost their health care on the ACA marketplace. These Hoosiers are not Medicare, Medicaid recipients. They're small business people, entrepreneurs, and we know that small businesses drive our economy. Uh, and I believe that Washington, both parties, have built a super highway to Wall Street and a cow path to Main Street.
All right, Joe. So let's talk about that for a second, because we just read a Fox News poll yesterday that showed affordability, inflation, the number one issue for people. A lot of the politicians acknowledge it. They don't want to fix it. You're talking about government programs. Do you think inflation's the number one issue? If so, how do you address that? Because obviously printing money is a big part of that.
Yeah. There's no one simple answer to inflation when there are multiple irons in the fire driving it. And how do you address all of it? Certainly, food insecurity is a growing problem. We're all seeing that at the grocery stores. We're watching gas prices kind of bounce up and down at the moment. But if the Straits of Hormuz does not open, we're certainly going to see drastic economic effects across the Asian basin. That means the electronics that we bring into our markets here, our clothing, so many other products that are produced in the Asian basin probably will not be showing up here. We're going to have that problem to deal with. It's surrounded by, energy is driving these issues. So energy is going to be a real issue to have to tackle.
So what do you cut? What do you cut? And this is the issue, right? The Democrats have never exactly been the party of cutting government. So what do you do, or can you fix inflation with that without spending less money?
Well, first off, let's talk about, because this is important, the deficit and the national debt. And when we look at taxes, we have people here, machinists working in machine shops, that are paying more in taxes every year than Elon Musk is on any one of his corporations. To be honest, we have to deal with the tax code. You want to fix the deficit, you want to fix the budget, then let's address the issues in the tax code that allow companies that aren't paying taxes to continue getting the incentives to operate. I think that we need to go through there with a fine-tooth comb. This is what Democrats who are elected around the country are talking about. And I think you're getting a whole new school of Democrats moving in who simply cannot tolerate any longer the ongoing behavior of both these parties.
Joe Mackey is our guest. He's running in for Congress in the 4th Congressional District. So you mentioned Elon Musk, and I think this is an interesting conversation to have. Elon Musk's wealth, most of it on paper. Should we tax unrealized capital gains? Is that what you're talking about doing when you're talking about taxing Tesla or Elon Musk?
Well, okay, passive income, for instance. Elon put up $44 billion dollars of his Tesla stock to buy X. The stock was considered passive income. He paid no taxes on this collateral, and he got to write off the loan against his earnings. He literally bought this company with no taxes. And I think that, in a situation like this, where you're taking passive income and using it to make a purchase, it should transition to active income and it should be taxed. So we're not looking at unfair. We're just trying to understand the unrealistic practices that we have allowed to be written into our tax code, which damage all of us. And it doesn't matter if you're a machinist and you're a Republican, you're being damaged by the advantages that have been written into the tax code. And that's both parties, Rob. It's both parties. They have done this to us. And I tell Democrats, it's time to come back to the dinner table. It's time to focus on those issues. We can ask for 1.5 trillion to wage a war no one wants, but we can't fund SNAP. We can't fund daycare. Complicated healthcare is too complicated to tackle. we have all of these major problems that the American people are experiencing, and a government that seems to be incapable of dealing with it or unwilling.
In a state like Indiana, moderate
Yeah.
Democrats have been pushed aside. I think you have a moderate Democrat vying to be at the top of the ticket with Bo Bai. You are trying to come off or position yourself as a moderate. I think you mentioned earlier. How do the Birch Bai, I mean, no pun intended with Bo Bai being on the top of the ticket, but how do those Democrats, the Democrats of days gone by, how do you guys reclaim the Indiana Democrat Party that I think has done damage to your brand?
Well, certainly the progressive Democrats have their point of view. Yellow Dog Democrats have their point of view. They're very pro 2A. Then you have the moderates who tend to be more socially liberal, but try to take on a fiscally conservative approach to problem solving. And, I think when I talk to people, Democrats and Republicans, I was just in a meeting last night, a house party with several Republicans who are now coming to listen to at least what I have to say. And they like it. They like it. I've just got a really nice email from a Republican man over in Howard County who told me that he's been voting Republican since Gerald R. Ford. And this year he's pulling a Democratic ballot because of his conversation with me. And I encourage Democrats, I truly encourage them to stay focused on the dinner table issues. It isn't enough to run and win on them, Rob. It simply isn't. We have to deliver. And I'm watching blue collar Democrats, working Democrats, delivering the same message with the same intention. And I think that we can have an impact on the legislation needed here in the Midwest and across the country from coast to coast to address these problems. The Trump White House just issued, I believe earlier this week, a survey that said they're 10 million homes shy of being able to house properly the American people, first-time home buyers. We're 100,000 medical specialists shy of being able to treat the American people, and we're becoming more and more reliant on H-1B visas for those medical specialties. This is a problem. We're more and more reliant on outside nations for our food sources. And
let's talk about that real quick. I think you hit on an issue that's a huge deal for people in Indiana, especially with the IEDC using our tax money to give to foreign companies that are bringing in HB1 workers. Are you going to be able to survive as a Democrat because you got a crowded primary talking about, hey, maybe we need fewer foreign workers in our country?
Well, we're always going to have foreign workers. We are an international nation. We're a global nation, whether we want to be or not. And that isn't the point. The point is we're reliant on them, and we shouldn't be, especially in fields like healthcare. We should not be reliant on foreign countries whose doctors, by the way, are having their educations paid for by their home countries. Whereas here, a medical specialist might have as much as $1 million tied up in their education before they can practice. And now they come out and they're in their late 30s and they're $1 million in debt for their education. Certainly that needs to be addressed. I hear talk of universal education, romantic thought. And I understand the frustrations. My daughter-in-law came to Indiana University from California, and she and my son have the exact same degree. Connor graduated, and his debt was $40,000, but my daughter-in-law's debt was $90,000. And the last 2 semesters, she had to borrow money take out high-risk loans of 18 to 20%. This is what we're doing to our kids. I think we could do better.
Joe Mackey is our guest. Couple minutes left with him. He's a Democrat running in the 4th Congressional District. You have a crowded primary. You would represent Brownsburg, where I live. I saw a lovely photo of yourself on 267 the other day, heading north out of town. You look fabulous in your, I was going to say mugshot, but I guess it's a headshot. How do you stand out in a crowded field, in a crowded primary on your side of the aisle? Can Can a person who's trying to have that reasoned conversation stand out in the current Democrat Party?
Well, I'm being very well received, and my messaging isn't new. Like I say, I have been working this district. I have been in it for the last decade. I know people up and down the district, north, south, east, and west. I have not fluctuated in my position. I have said the same thing for the last 10 years. If you look back, I ran in 2020. And if you look at the messaging from 2020 and the messaging today, it's by and large the very same messages. So, it's been very hard, Rob, to sit back and say our rural hospitals are going to start shutting down. And we have two rural hospitals here in the northern part of the district, one in Cass County, one in Jasper. They just shut down their maternity programs. That leaves rural women and infants at great risk. Our infant mortality rate here in the United States, here in Indiana, is the seventh highest in the country. Our maternal mortality rate is the third highest in the country. And overwhelmingly, these women and these babies are dying in our rural areas. And I don't see anyone from the other side of the aisle stepping up to address that. And it must be addressed. We have to bridge that rural healthcare gap.
One of the great fears of people is that, and this is what redistricting was all about, or at least they were told that, is the Democrats are going to impeach Trump if they get the House of Representatives. Can you speak to, would you take that off the table? Do you think that would be a worthy thing to do? Where would you be with that?
I will tell you that I have been speaking out against impeachment. I don't think it gets us anywhere. It will take 2 years to impeach a president, and we'll be closing in on the end of his final term in office. I think that if we run on the dinner table issues, which we are, then our obligation is to deliver on those issues first. That is first and foremost. Impeaching a president isn't easy. It's not successful. We know that. Democrats have tried it twice to no avail. And I don't want to waste my time in Congress or the opportunities that we have to really address the problems that we have here in this district, we have across the country. I think that's where we win. But I don't want to run on the issues that I'm talking about and then get to Washington and abandon them for a fruitless cause, even if it's a feel-good cause.
Well, and I've said this for a while. Our slogan here, Joe, is we dislike all these people equally. No offense, but the Republicans are very corrupt. They are very rotten. They liars. They do not deliver. The problem is for you, and you seem like a reasonable guy, your party's run by crazy people. And I'm wondering, with the no king stuff, you see these, the leaders of the party, it seems like, or at least the most vocal people, they get a lot of attention. Does that do damage to you if you're the nominee saying, hey, it's a Republican district, I got to get a lot of Republicans to vote for me?
Well, I would like to think, when it comes to the progressive wing of the party here in the district, that, the conversation I have to have with them is, you might not like me, but you should at least consider the alternative.
You're stuck with me.
Yeah. At the same time, even a broken clock is right twice a day. But I see opportunities to work across the aisle on some of these problems. And we should be doing that. It's, we watch these elected officials right and left. It's the same faces on the news all the time, and they behave like feces flinging monkeys. And
I like
more
that.
interesting.
I'm stealing that. Feces flinging monkeys. I like that.
I'm telling you, man, it bothers me. I think that I want to go back to when Washington's representatives were in front of a camera. They were actually talking about meaningful policy and tackling real problems that everyday Americans have. We don't see that. And it's usually faces from what I would consider very safe districts on the right and the left. You don't see a lot of purple district congressmen out there behaving the way that you see the ones on the right or the left that happen to live in very blue areas and are safe in saying whatever they want. And sadly, the Democrats here in the Midwest have struggled to win office. And then we're subject to whatever is coming out of those safe blue districts, usually coastal districts. And I think it's time that Midwestern Democrats stood up and had their own damn voice. And
Is there anybody in the Congress that you look at right now? Okay, Joe Mackey would be a blank Democrat, or not a blank in Democrat. He would be a blank Democrat. Who is it that you look at? Well, that's what I'm saying. Who is it you look at now and go, okay, maybe you could compare me to that person, or is there anybody?
I don't have any one person that I look to. There's several out there. Some are in office, some aren't. Alyssa Slotkin is talking about, a Medicare for all plan for those who want it. I think that is likely to succeed simply because only those who choose to opt into a program like that would see their taxes go up. The ones who choose to keep their private insurance or their employer insurance are free to go their own way. I think this is a good way to start. I don't like, the mandates. I'm not in favor of let's just mandate everybody do this. I think the American people are smart enough and deserving enough to have a choice to participate or not. Mitch Daniels created the term let the money follow the child. And in terms of Alyssa Slotkin and Pete Buttigieg's plan, let the money follow the taxpayer. It's the same thing, Rob. It's the same concept. And I think it can work. And then we'll leave it up to the people to decide whether they participate or not.
All right. So May 5th, you're going to be on people's ballots in a variety of counties in the western part of the state, including mine in Hendricks County. If people want to learn more about you and your campaign, Joe Mackey, how can they do that?
Well, you can find me at joeforhoosiers.org. That's our website. We have a Facebook page, joeforhoosiers.org. You can go to either of those. We're out there on several of the other apps. Admittedly, I'm not the one managing that.
At least you admit it, Joe.
Manage that.
At least you admit it.
People doing that. Yeah. I read the news and I study. I don't have time to play in a lot of apps.
Yeah, very good. Joe Mackey, good luck with the primary. Maybe we'll be talking to you in the fall. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Rob, thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall's show. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you're having a great Friday. So pleased to have you with us. And look, this is what we do on our show. We talk to all the people, the Republicans, the Democrats, libertarians. We have always viewed this show as a voice of the people. We're not homers for anybody. We ask hard questions to all the people. So yeah, we're going to have lots of Democrats on. We think you guys, and look, don't you get kind of bored hearing the same voices over and over again, droning on about the same stuff? It's new stuff, new things. So we're going to do it. All right. Hey, before I get to producer Jason with a jam-packed YouTube comment section today, buying a home is the biggest investment you'll ever make, but it's about so much more than a price tag. It's about the next chapter. When you're with Lauren Wilson, you're getting a woman who is dedicated to making sure you feel 100% confident in every decision you make. Not there just to show you houses. She's there to guide you through the schools, the neighborhoods, everything that makes Central Indiana living the place you want to be and special. Call Lauren Wilson, lifelong Hoosier military vet with At Properties, realtor with At Properties, for your next move. 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. And with that, we say hello, greetings,
Hello.
salutations, producer Jason. Hello.
How we doing today?
I'm doing great. Big announcement earlier. We're moving to 3 hours. If you missed it, 9 to noon, beginning Monday, May the 4th.
Love the way you drug that out just like a true professional. Made everybody wait, got the chat count, the thumbs up count up. A true professional.
My old man yesterday's like, when are you going to tell him? I was like, I think I'll make him suffer for a while.
Oh, yeah, you knew it wasn't coming right out of the gate. There we go. All right, this chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let the next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount, but you get a discount as well. Owner John McKinney, a Hoosier lifer, takes pride, stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Black Sheep Plumbing, 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558.
John's awesome. We love John. Thank you to John, Black Sheep Plumbing, making this YouTube. You got to be a subscriber. By the way, if you haven't, hit the little thumbs up button right now before you guys leave today after the show. Don't forget, just do it now. That thumbs up, it really helps us. And of course, you got to be a subscriber in order to chat in the YouTube. It's a fun community. We got tons and tons of people, hundreds of people commenting every single day. And we are the fun place to be for the YouTube chat. But you got to be a subscriber in order to get your name read, potentially, on the program.
All right, we'll start with the chats about the hour, and then we'll kind of go backwards. But okay. I think a lot of people, the biggest question they want to know about the extra hour that we've added, Jack the Libertarian, does Jason get a pay raise now? That was a major requirement.
Yes,
like, I'm getting out of bed that extra hour earlier. Better be some cheese on the table.
Well, and we debated whether we were going to do 9 to noon or 10 to 1.
The only reason we were looking at 10 to 1 is because I didn't want to get up early.
Yeah,
That Rob was going to give me that.
It just
but
fits my schedule better to do the 9 to noon, just the things that I have going on in the
we were going to try to
afternoon.
screw up some other people's ratings, but that 12. But it's traditional though. 9 to noon, noon to 3.
Yeah.
That
No,
sort
9
of
to noon was
thing.
going to work much better for my schedule.
Because down the road. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Debbie Holcomb. We're going to go back to right before, while you were still teasing.
Yes.
Drum roll, please.
Yes.
She set the scene.
Yes.
Susan Sweeney, who wants to go over to WIBC chat and tell everyone Rob is about to make an announcement. I had to get that in there. Josh Richardson. Don't do that, Susan. You'll have all 3 of their listeners leave.
Oh, no.
Now, that was just wrong, Josh. You should not have said that. Ethan Hatcher.
Oh, no.
So can we call Rob's big announcement for his fans a Robblehead reward?
Oh, there you go.
We've been debating on the Robblehead thing.
We love Ethan, and everybody should totally catch Ethan. I assume he's on tomorrow night.
Well, maybe.
7 to 9, Saturday night on The Circle. You can hear that in WIBC. Ethan does an awesome job, so everybody check out Ethan.
And by the way, McLovins, I was the first to hit the chat today. So McLovins was our first to hit the like. I'm sorry. The thumbs up. All right. So let's see. The other ones, is Rob monetized on YouTube? No, we're not monetized on YouTube just yet because when you monetize on YouTube, they play their own commercials.
That's right.
So when you hit the feed, you've got to listen, 60 seconds of their spot, and then it just interrupts randomly throughout the broadcast. So, we don't need the money. That's why Rob never asks for donations or anything. So but that's honestly the reason we've held off on that, because I just don't want the broadcast to be interrupted. And for the few pennies you make off that, it's really not.
But there are some things YouTube allows you to do that we are going to probably start here pretty soon that don't relate to playing ads. And we love YouTube. Sure. They're very generous with giving us this space. YouTube, you're phenomenal. Thank you so much. And there's some other things that they do that we are probably going to do pretty soon.
All right, let's get to it here with Alva Coakley, 9 to noon, you kick-ass dude. Deep thoughts. Thank you, John Russ.
Now, we mentioned this because John Rust is the person who stepped up and said, I will support you going 9 to noon. I feel strongly. He doesn't want anything. He just simply said, I love your show. I love listening to you. I've loved listening to you for a long time. I love making people. We told you, look, Rust is stupid rich, okay? He won't even know the sponsorship is gone. But all kidding aside, John has been very generous, and he said, look, I don't want anything. I just want you to be able to broadcast. I love your program. I'll take care of it.
And we'll give him his accolades. Mad Duck. Well, thanks, John Rust. Nathan Raleigh. Awesome. Thanks, John. Josh Richardson. Rust knows the power of Rob and his voice. This is awesome. Drain the Swamp. You chose 9 to 12 rather than 10 to 1. Livy better not be suffering. She needs her daddy time.
That was factored in. Livy will be where she needs to be, and it will still allow me to be here by 9 o'clock.
Adam Baltus. That's awesome of Mr. Rust.
Baltus Travel Service, by the way, baltustravel.com.
MLM Warriors, thank you, all sponsors, and John. Alva Coakley. Thank you, John Russ, and all other sponsors. Shauna Smith. I just read that, didn't I? Let me see. Let's, oh, I put that in there twice. Okay. Can't read that one. There's a new sheriff. Okay, this is Kenny Ramsey. There's a new sheriff in town, Rob Hot Sauce Kendall. Sue Seifert. I originally came for the chicks, but found Rob and stayed with him. Very nice, very nice. Ethan Hatcher, did we say this one yet? May the 4th be with you.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. I like that. Oh, that's right. It's a Star Wars reference.
Right. May 4th is our debut of 9 to Noon. That's Ethan Hatcher, may the 4th be with you, Rob. Go. I am his 888 Heisman. John Rust ran for Senate, or tried to. Indiana Republicans tried to keep him off the ballot. He's from Seymour.
Yes.
Explanation of who John is there. Very good. I am his 8888. Nicholas Pender. Nick Pender. Congratulations to all of the third hour. I think Nick's the guy that cuts my grass.
For real?
Yeah, Nick Pender. Unless there's another Nick Pender. Does a phenomenal. Guy's like a man. You see the commercials. The guy's down there with the little scissors. Yeah. Well, that's Nick.
You have an adult.
Phenomenal.
I can't believe you do not mandate your adult son go out and cut the grass. He's perfectly capable of
He's
doing
like
that.
Me. Pay somebody else to do it. I make so much money on the Rob Kendall Show. Almond Joy. Man, I start sounding like you. That's not good.
Yeah.
Almond Joy Tempo. Who's your daddy? John Rust. Spray Jockey. Been with you since you had your segments with the chicks. Anna Schooley. The national change can only happen if we can change the local. Thank you, Rob, for being the people's voice. Never stop.
That's why we do the local. That's right.
MLM Warriors. I've been with Rob since the chicks on the right. Don B. Oh, sorry, can't read that one. Sorry, Don, but that was a good one. If you want to see that one, go in the chat. We just cannot dump on Rob's former people.
Look. Here is my thing. I want as many, and I've said this many times. I want as many people out there covering what is going on in the state as possible, and a commitment: TV, radio, digital, newspaper, whatever it is. If there's a media outlet out there, and they're covering local, and they're digging into this stuff, and they're asking hard questions, and they're holding people accountable, I support them no matter what the frequency or station or time slot or whatever it is. We all need to support people who dig in and go local.
Andy Engel. Man, I love this show. It's so exciting to see it go from 45 minutes of Rob doing Facebook, doing a Facebook live chat in his bedroom, to seeing him add a podcast, pick up a handful of advertisers, now to 3 hours.
Thank you, Andy. Yes,
congratulations,
one of our fabulous
Rob.
listeners. Great guy.
Spray Jockey. You can set up your studio in my shop, 18,000 square feet and high-speed internet. You know how much it would cost to insulate or to soundproof 18,000 square feet, where 1 square foot of insulation's like $1 and $1.20?
Oh my gosh.
John!
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Andy Engel. So freaking rad. Congrats, Rob and Jason. Let's see. Continue on. Lynn, I told you there's a time. We got extra time in the chat today, and we're going to use it. Lynn Stevens, mom of 3. Big thank you to John Rust. Rob's take on all things political is what Indiana, dare I say, the entire United States needs. Keep up the awesome work, Rob and Jason. Spray Jockey, Summer of Love.
That's
on the Rob Kendall
That's
Show.
the comment?
That's the comment.
Summer of Love.
LD Stoltz. Yes, big thanks to John Rust. There's always the hero behind the scenes. Carol, 1776. Can't thank Rob and Jason enough for what they do to keep us informed of what is really going on nationally. Thank you to John Rust for believing in all of us. And that is it. It's all of us. It's not just Rob. It's not just Rob and I. It's all of us.
That is correct.
That's why we're doing the chat here and having so much fun with it.
Absolutely.
Who's your 2025? Rob, you are the best. And Jason also. Thank you for that. All right, let's see what else we got. We got more. Charles, good luck, Jason. Thank you very much, Charles.
Comment. Good luck,
Charles
Jason.
Ludi. Good luck, Jason.
That's it? Just good luck?
It's not always about you.
Well, no. I mean, that's the comment.
Well, you know, I got a hard job. I don't just get to sit and talk.
Well, it is, because we got to tear it all down, put it back up.
Yeah, that's right.
Once we get to our new place, your workload's going to decrease immensely.
Here's another one that's important. MLM Warriors, on May 4th, does producer Jason get help and a pay raise? I've got help. We've got Vaughn, producer Vaughn. My son is, he does participate, helps things out, and takes a lot of the load off, because when Rob talks about 12 hours, he's not really considering that I get up at 7:30 and I'm usually working till 9:30 or 10, but that's okay. A new one, Darcy Cameron.
Oh, hello, Darcy.
Can you ask John Piper to come to the show?
Oh, we did. We have sent out a list. So, like next week, we're gonna Bobai is going to be with us on Monday.
Booby Bobby.
You know, we've sent out a list of Piper was supposed to be with us, and then he had some sort of deal where he had to go to Washington. And so it didn't work out. We did send the invite though, and he was going to come on, and then he had some other sort of deal. So I did send that invite out. All
right, excellent. Let's see. We've got a few here that since I've been talking that look pretty good. Some cheesem on the table, if you will, producer Jason. Rob, we need to get Linda Cheeseman in here. She's become a celebrity in her own right.
After the election, I will get Linda Cheeseman on the show.
Kevin Branham, we need to have a chat picnic this summer.
We're trying to do a chat live event. Do we have to have a picnic and a live event?
He's just suggesting. He's not saying you have
that's
to
what I'm
do
asking.
anything.
Like, I thought the live event was for the chat.
The live event is a performance audience situation. Right. So a picnic is more of a, hey, can I sit here and chat with you?
Oh, I got you.
That sort of thing.
I see. Very good. Yes. Okay.
Kevin Branham, he'll destroy the 9 to 12 ratings. We don't have ratings.
We have no ratings. That's a great thing. YouTube just clicks. That's it.
All right. Let's see. A couple others here. It's they were good, and I lost them. Dang it. Let's go back. We got time, right? We got a
couple more minutes, and we got to get ready
unless there's anything else you.
Well, I got to thank our friends at Bramwell Mackay.
Okay,
that's it.
All right. Did I get to McLovin's earlier? Good morning, Rob and Jason. I feel like a kid on Christmas morning waiting for everyone so we can open our present.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, the tease. It's all about.
I think there's so many good ones, but doggone it, I think we'll go ahead and
go back and listen to the show again. Then you can see all the comments come out.
That's right. You can, and we get I guarantee today. I guarantee it's a good 600 comments.
Yeah,
and that's pretty amazing. By the way, Rob, Charles Luty does add, you're looking all slicked up in that shirt, Rob. Your mom is on point.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we'll. Okay. Mad Duck wants brisket, so I believe Mad Duck will be going to
Double D's Barbecue.
Double D's Barbecue.
Yeah, they're awesome.
That's
all right.
right.
Before we say goodbye, masonry color mismatch. Previous repair catching your eye. Not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover. Oh, I forgot to let you thank.
One day Rob will realize that I'm supposed to read this after my segment there. Black Sheep Plumbing is the big sponsor of the chat. We certainly do appreciate it. Give Black Sheep Plumbing a call, 765-315-7558. And with that, everyone have a fantastic weekend. Rob, we'll see you. Now you can get on with the show.
Thank you.
So long, everybody.
They're not the sponsor of the YouTube chat, but they are a fabulous sponsor of this program and have been from the beginning. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, or want to build something new, Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY.com. Beauty built to endure. Guys, we want to thank you for another amazing week. You are the best audience in all the land. It is because of you the show is growing. But we're asking you to take some ownership in that as well, right? From the standpoint of helping us get the word out. The liking, the sharing, the subscribing. They are three things that go a super long way. And we need you to do that to help this show continue to grow, especially with us going to 3 hours. Tell people, beginning Monday, May the 4th, we are heading to 9 to noon. We're going to start mixing in some national stories as well. We're going to be heading up to a new studio, hopefully not before too long. We got so many great things in the works. So many awesome things are happening. And it's because you guys. Thank you so much for being with us every single day. You guys have an awesome and blessed and very happy weekend, and we will see you back here Monday, 10 until noon. Rob Kendall Show.